Hey, it's your boy, Sergeant Hooked on Henshins. So today we're reviewing episode 20 of Kamen Revice. Um, this is starting to slowly become one of my top favorite seasons. They have not let a death grip on that plot go since the very beginning. We've gotten some pretty decent arcs leading up to right now, and I'm very interested and have no clue actually what's going to happen going forward. I have some ideas, but I don't know for sure. Um, so one thing I want to kind of address is kind of like death baiting. This happens a lot in shows. One of the more infamous recent examples was what they did with Glenn in the Walking Dead show. Spoilers for that and for the comic. If you don't know, his character does die in both, right? In comics, it's pretty clear he's gone, right? In the show, they had like a time where you thought he died, and they ended up having some other random way that he survived. And so, anyway, we've kind of been having that sometimes in Rider and stuff like that, where they'll bait that a death is going to happen, and either A, it won't happen, or it will, but they'll get revived later, so it's like, what's the point of death? And all that kind of stuff, right? It doesn't bother me too much when a character gets resurrected in Rider, just because, I mean, it's a fictional show, so like death probably doesn't work the same way as it does in the real world, but it does get kind of tiring, and it makes it feel like death isn't as important when they can like consistently keep killing somebody off and then bringing them back. It kind of defeats the purpose of them dying. Um, Hiromi and Kadoda is one of those people, and that spoilers for this episode, he does not die in this episode. Who knows about next week? But where they've been like hinting at the possibility of it and it not happening a bunch. So anyway, this episode leads off from last episode, and Hiromi is still like fixated on wanting to make sure that he is the one using the driver and that he can still transform and all that stuff. Even though everybody's telling him it's gonna kill him, he's still like, no, I gotta do this. I have to be the one to help my friends. My one friend was attacked. Chigusa is still under the, spell, if you will, or manipulated by Oteka. And we get more with her, with Chigusa talking to Oteka one-on-one, and a bit of backstory on him. That when he was human, he soon figured out that he was really vastly intelligent, more so than anybody else, to the point where people would kind of ostracize him for it. So as a result, he decided he was above humanity and above where they were at and wanted to evolve, and that's why he joined the Deadmans. So I think it was really cool and kind of interesting to see a backstory piece for him as well, whereas Julio slash Tamaki joined because he was kind of bullied and wanted to be stronger and wanted something different, a change to make that different. It's different with Oteka. He has a different take on why he was wanting to join the Deadman, and he wants to evolve and be better than everybody else. And I will say that Oteka is a decent villain. I just fucking hate him. I have a note right here that says Oteka can go to hell. So, again, overall episode's really good. We get some good focus scenes with Ikki and Vice talking with each other, them also talking about what's going on with Hiromi, telling them how much they respect him and that they don't want him to get hurt and they're going to try to protect him telling them, don't worry about me. So the main crux of the episode happens when we see that Chigusa is talking with Oteka to Hiromi, and she gets forcibly turned into a Giftarian. And she has no idea this is coming at all. I don't think she, for some reason, thought it would be her. She gets turned into a Giftarian, and of course that just unhinges Hiromi, so he transforms, seemingly for the final time. And the way he does the transformation is very much so, with the explosion behind him, very much so reminiscent of the one famous Fourze transformation with the explosion behind Gentaro. I think one of the writers of that wrote this episode. Also, Koichi Sakamoto directs this episode because there's part of it where Ikki and Vice come back into it to help out, and they're like holding off the henchmen and stuff while he fights the Giftarian that is his friend. And they do this like rush through the different genome forms, and it's really well put together. The CG looks good, and the choreography is great, and it's cool to see this like rush through the toys. And it must be nice if you're like a kid that's watching, like, wow, they really haven't been using that toy in a while. Is this a cool toy? And then you see it getting used again. It must be pretty awesome. But anyway, so they're fighting some of the underlings and stuff, as is I think Sakura is there too, helping, and Daiji, I believe. And Hiromi is facing off against the Giftarian, and he does a rider kick on it, and of course then eventually Ikki and Vice fight Oteka. They want to separate him out from his demon side. They almost did last episode, but he got away. So they tried to again this time. They're successful, and then because he holds Oteka back, he holds on to Oteka. He's like, "Go do it, blah blah blah, separate and go right through me." And so they do it, but they set up a plan ahead of time. They set up a plan. Vice thought of it, or maybe Icky didn't told Vice that they basically do the rider kick where they go off center a little bit and they knock the demon's driver off of Hiromi before it can kill him, because it tells him, "You transform again, I'm going to eat the rest of your life force." So they destroy the demon side of Oteka, yes, but they also knock the driver off Hiromi long enough to save him. So Oteka's depowered. He's just human now, seemingly. Um, he's taken under arrest by Phoenix, of course, and he yeah, so he's taken arrest. And when this happens, when the what's it called, the Giftarian is destroyed this time, and the essence goes and like, you know, gets absorbed into Gifu, into the little Gifu living statue vagina thing. This time we get a reaction of Vice. He seems to be in pain, so I'm wondering if it's possible that this whole, which I just actually pre-ordered it because got some birthday money. It's my birthday recently, 31 by the way. I'm wondering if we're going to get a situation where, because with that stamp, that rolling stamp, there's some text that translates as something about a demon's true nature is to betray, or is betrayal, or something like that, and this is my body now, and stuff like that. I wonder if the more Giftarians they defeat, the stronger Gifu gets until he fully revives. And one of his first things is to take control over Vice and make him use this new stamp and control Icky. And it might also explain the Icky in the opening credits that has the suit on. Maybe he just starts wearing different clothes, just like how Kagero and Daiji wear different clothes. But anyway, Vice is in pain. He's okay. He's not like hurt or like badly or like gonna die. He's just in pain. Interesting to see the effect there. But yeah, it was a clever plan. I really felt like it was going to be Hiromi's swan song, but they were able to save him at the last second. And he also reveals that there's a demon inside the driver. And of course, Vice is like, "I knew it. All those different times, I thought I heard another voice or a sense of another demon. I knew there had to be one." So that was kind of cool too. So Taika's taken into custody. They defeat the Giftarian. They of course saved Hiromi also. Chigusa's gone, which is sad, but better that she's gone when she was a monster than as an innocent getting murdered, I guess. But anyway, so overall, it was a really good episode. I do like that there's a lot more stuff given to George in this episode. Karazaki, he has this whole like scene with Hiromi basically telling him like, "It was never meant for you. Isn't your catchphrase you'll lay your life down to save the world?" And basically just like roasting Hiromi for no reason and telling him the driver was never meant for him and blah blah blah. And he says, "Well, who was it meant for?" And he's like, "Well, like what was the end goal of it? If this is what who was it meant for? What's the end goal of all of this?" And he says something along the lines of to create the most powerful or the best or the strongest Kamen Rider. So I wonder if it's George that's going to be that. I would like it to be George. I do think that he's possibly the one behind the scenes pulling the strings in terms of somebody within Phoenix that's not as righteous as people think, because it was Altega, and I think a few of the other people in the Dead Man's that were telling Hiromi like, "Hey, there's something else going on there," and he didn't want to believe it. So I wonder if that's what we're going to go with. Is that it's George and then him kind of working with Alteka here and there, because next episode not only shows Alteka out of imprisonment, but it shows him with the demon's driver and him transformed into demons. It also shows Hiromi with some blood in his face and saying something about, "Now this journey is yours, Icky," and smiling or something like that. So maybe he is dying next episode. I don't know. There's also a rumor that his soul gets trapped in the demon driver. And also, just as much as demons in suit form is supposed to be a kind of a sideways reference to Spider-Man, that Oteka taking over as demons and Hiromi's soul being trapped in the driver will be similar to the Superior Spider-Man story, which was a storyline where Otto Octavius finds out in the comics, where Otto Octavius finds out, Doc Ock finds out that his body's dying, rapidly falling apart. And so he sets up this plan to trap Spider-Man and put his consciousness into Peter Parker's body forcibly and push out Peter Parker's, swap him, put his into his, crappy body. And so when he does so, he becomes a much more brutal Spider-Man, so much so that he fights Scorpion, doesn't know that Spider-Man pulls his punches and like knocks his jaw off or something like that. So like, I wonder if they're gonna do something like a Superior Demons storyline, Superior Oteka, whatever, and like Hiromi like slowly either A, reforming Oteka, or B, gaining more control where he does somehow come back. I don't know. Um, but yeah, overall the episode was very, very, very entertaining. I like that it felt as though it was going to be his swan song, but then it was different. And the last second they kind of switched that up. I like that because that kind of happens a lot in these shows, and you're wanting some way, or at least want somebody will survive. And maybe he's only surviving this episode and gonna die next episode. I don't know, but it's doing good. The drama's great, dialogue's great, storyline's great. I really enjoyed this episode, and I'm really loving the series so far. I was actually talking with somebody that it might. I don't know if I'll put it above build, but it's definitely going to be like maybe like top 4 with how good it's being so far. So overall score, I probably would give this one probably a strong 10 out of 10 as well. I think these last few episodes have been really kicking ass in terms of development for characters, development for plot, and just in general, like pushing the show forward and showing what they can do. Um, as far as stuff coming up soon for content, we do close on selling our house tomorrow, and soon close on buying the new house. So again, if there's another pause at all in content, I do apologize. As far as content coming up, I did just order today the rolling stamp for the new power-up item for Icky and Vice for I think it's called uh, Jaku Revice, like jacked Revice or like hijacked Revice basically. It's like him and Vice fused into one form, which is kind of cool. I think that's going to lead into their final form, maybe. But anyways, I got that pre-ordered. That doesn't come out till, I think, a couple weeks or so, like February 12th or something like that. I also ordered a Genius full bottle for my build driver, so I'll show that off if you guys want me to. A review of that, the sounds it makes, what it sounds like in the driver, blah, blah, blah. And then the other stuff that I'm hoping is coming soon, like the Demons driver, definitely going to do a nice long Tokuto review on that. The Forze driver, the Legend Makeover series version of that, the Don Blaster, and then I also did order the Bari Rex little stamp thing. So definitely some Tokuto reviews coming up soon once I get them. I haven't gotten that stuff yet, but once it does ship out and I have it, I will clearly, unbox it and show it to you guys live and try to get some first impressions on it and stuff like that. But again, thank you guys so much for watching the episode. We're at about just under 250 subscribers, which is insanity. I started this channel back up at like 88 something subscribers, being a Let's Play channel. Flipped it over to Toku stuff, and it's been flooding with people, and I think that's crazy, and I'm so thankful for it. If you're watching right now and you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe for more Toku content. I talk about Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, Power Rangers, Digimon sometimes. I like to venture off into some of the others like Garo and Ultraman if I have time. I did just finish my rewatch of Kamen Rider 01 on Blu-ray. I have my Blu-ray set. So I'm going to probably do a review of that overall. I've watched 01 before, but I've never done a review of it yet. So I might do a retrospective with that or just an overall review. And pretty soon the next Rider series I'm going to watch is Ryuki, and then either Faiz or Kabuto. I haven't decided yet. But let me know what you guys in the comments below what you guys think of the episode. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you love Hiromi? Do you not like him? Do you like the demon suit? You better say that you do. You have poor taste if you don't. Yeah, and then clearly the Zenkaiju review for next episode will go up as soon as I can find a way to watch it and get it reviewed. But as always, until next time, stay hooked on Henshin's. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.